We're live. Tim Harvey and Ryan Darani are here with us today at the Real Estate Coaching Collective. They are the co-founders of FlyDragon. For those who are not familiar with FlyDragon, you probably are not. They are newer to the industry. FlyDragon is an AI SEO company. I've followed them for a few months. I've known Tim Harvey on and off for the past several years. We've crossed paths. They help real estate agents and professionals boost their visibility on Google and AI search by helping agents create relevant AI generated content that doesn't sound terrible. And I was skeptical, but I've had a number of calls with Tim. I've followed them and it is legit. But today, Tim and Ryan are going to be teaching you, if you would like to do this yourself, implement this yourself, the exact 3-step framework you can take to use ChatGPT to get more leads. As Tim and Ryan are sharing, feel free to ask any questions in the Facebook group. I'll be helping monitor that. And with that said, Tim and Ryan, I will let you take it from here.
Thank you, Elena. Go ahead and share my screen here. Hey, everybody tuning in live and tuning in to the recording after the fact. Excited to be here. We are legit. So what we'll be doing today is giving you, like Elena said, the framework that you can use to get leads from ChatGPT. It's exactly what we're doing for our clients today. And before we really get into it, I just want to say, like, there is going to be a massive land grab, a massive AI land grab, just like we've seen over the years with Google Business Profile, with Zillow, with Facebook ads, with Google PPC. Like, this is the next frontier. This is something that agents are not going to want to miss. If you're tuning in, you probably understand that being the case. And so this is what we're going to cover today. We're going to give you the framework. This is what we do for agents here at FlyDragon. And just a little bit about ourselves, who we are. Tim Harvey, CEO and co-founder of FlyDragon. We founded FlyDragon 6 or 7 months ago now. Ryan and myself and a couple of other partners. And prior to that, I was Curator's Chief Operating Officer. For those of you who don't know Curator is a marketing agency that helps listing agents get more listings. It's a full end solution from beautifully designed websites, paid ads, email marketing, social media marketing, essentially spanning the entire gamut. And Ryan, I'll let you introduce yourself, and then I'll go a bit deeper on the next slide about what it is that we're doing at FlyDragon.
Yeah, sure. So I have a background in SEO, have done for just over a decade. Predominantly worked with enterprise brands. So think of Fortune 500, Fortune 200. That's primarily where I spent the majority of my time. Me and Tim got together 5 years ago, something like that. He was looking for a British charming SEO guy, and he managed to find me, and we managed to stay friends. For the last few years, I've been heavily into AI before ChatGPT was cool. And I'm happy to share everything that I've learned over the last few years and kind of walk you through the framework that we're using at FlyDragon.
Ryan, you made ChatGPT cool.
I did. I try.
You try. So we saw something coming years ago. So Ryan and I, we brought Ryan into Curator about 5 years ago. We wanted to solve SEO for Curator back in the day. And so, friend of a friend, I'm reaching out to my network, scouring the earth. I find this charming British guy. He was busy, so then I found Ryan Darani, and then we started working together. And fast forward 9 months later, and we got our organic traffic where it needed to get to. Now, let's talk about the old way, the traditional SEO way. For any of you who've looked into SEO, maybe invested in SEO in the past, it's expensive. That's why the majority of agents don't invest in SEO. It costs money. And the other, I would say, detractor is it takes time. And as real estate agents, we want things to happen yesterday. So maybe we're quick to turn on paid ads because you're getting leads immediately. Whereas SEO, you really have to not just invest in it, you have to commit to the strategy. So traditionally, it's been expensive. It's been hard to scale if you don't have the budget. And I mentioned working at Curator for 8 years. I talked to hundreds of agents, probably thousands of agents, my tenure there. There was a common theme that I noticed that agents, regardless of the platform they're using, did not invest in SEO, did not have organic traffic. So I knew this problem existed. And it wasn't until Ryan and I started toying around with this idea of bringing the solution to real estate because we knew there was a problem. So we grabbed 20,000 websites from every provider, and we were right. There was a problem. It was just a lot worse than we had anticipated. More than half of real estate agent websites have zero organic traffic. None. Maybe you have paid traffic or direct traffic, but no organic clicks. No one is finding your business on Google. So it was a problem, and we didn't have a unique solution. Like, yeah, sure, we can go start an SEO agency, just be another agency, but that wasn't good enough. And so Ryan and I start talking more and more about this concept, and he's sharing with me what he's been working on with outside of real estate in different industries, leveraging AI for an SEO solution. So this is where the light bulb moment happens. Like, oh, okay, there is a way to drive costs down, because probably the most expensive component to SEO is the writers themselves. People cost money, right? People take vacations. People are error prone. So it goes through rounds of revisions. It takes more time when you rely on human writers, and it takes more capital. And so now there's a new way. Not just are we helping agents rank in Google search, but also AI search. And we're going to show you examples today of how we're helping agents do this. We're also going to give you exactly what we're doing for clients so you can go do this yourself. So again, it's not just about the traditional way, although Google is still the king. And we'll share the data behind this, but more and more buyers and sellers today are using ChatGPT and other language models. So before we really get into this, I need a favor. I'd like you, if you can, if you're here live, if you use ChatGPT, I'd like you to search this, whether you have it on your phone or pull up a browser tab. But I'd like you to type in, can you tell me who the best realtors or real estate agents are in whatever market you're in, who can sell my single family home, condo for whatever price point is popular in your market? I'll just leave this up for a minute. We'll come back to it. I want to give everybody a minute or two just to type this in. Who can tell me who the best real estate agents are in my market, who can sell my single family home, condo for whichever price point? We'll come back to this. So here's our promise for today. We're going to show you how to get your brand to appear in AI search, just like we're doing for our clients today. We're also going to show you how you can connect with serious intent buyers and sellers using, by the way, if we say ChatGPT, we also mean all the language models, but ChatGPT is certainly the most prevalent today. And then lastly, again, we're going to give away the framework. And after today, we're going to give away some resources as well you can take with you to apply the things that we're learning. So Elena, I'd just like to know, if anybody did the search, if they could drop in the chat, yes, if their name or their business, their brand appeared in the results, or a no if they did not appear.
Although we have people online, I'm not seeing anyone post. I did a chat myself to see if the agent I worked with showed up, and unfortunately she did not, which is a bummer because she's been awesome.
In solid experience.
Yeah, her name's Sunny Darden, and she's in Flower Mound. That's what she's known
Flower
for.
Mound, yeah.
And she did not show up.
Yeah. So we're going to come back to that point. So that's an interesting point.
Okay, so two people said they appeared. So Brooke said she appeared, and Mandy said she appeared. I don't know what number, but that's awesome.
And I saw Suzanne Damon's face pop in here. We did this with her. We know she's appearing up in Manchester, so that's good. If you didn't appear, or if you're watching the recording later and did not appear, we're going to show you how the things you need to be doing so you end up in the ChatGPT ecosystem. So Ryan, why don't we start to give them these top 3 secrets?
I think we should. We definitely should. And I'm glad, by the way, Tim, you managed to get my face off the screen. I am handsome, but I do not want to look at myself for that long.
I was wondering how to get rid of that. I didn't know how.
Yeah, I mean, there I am, sat there looking at myself. Inception. So what we'll do is we'll kind of start with like the house maintenance aspect of this framework. And then secret 2 and secret 3 are more about the content strategy and how you generate leads from the broader spectrum of the web and how ChatGPT pulls different levers to return you back. So from a house maintenance perspective, ChatGPT doesn't work in the same way as traditional SEO. Traditional SEO, I've been doing this for, like I said, kind of like just over a decade now. I'm pushing the back 9 of my age bracket, definitely midlife. Everything, the goalposts continue to move, right? It was, you learn one thing, an algorithm comes in and it changes the benchmark. Everything just was in this real horrible black box. And we played by Google's rules. And despite being, I would like to class myself as relatively pretty good at SEO, it came down to budget. It didn't matter how good I was. It didn't matter how many tactics I had. If somebody had deeper pockets than me, they could bid and appear at the top of Google for all of the most relevant keywords that would generate leads. So the cycle continues. We have to find new avenues. And Tim, if you just pop to the next screen, you'll see what I mean. So left-hand side, traditional search. You type in best realtor in Miami or best real estate agent in Miami. You're faced with now, it will be way worse than what this currently shows. And this is only 3 weeks old. You're faced with sponsored ads in a map pack before you see anything organic. And when you click into anything organic, it's going to show you your typical culprits: Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, Realtor.com. On the right-hand side, the model and experience has changed for ChatGPT. It doesn't yet have the ecosystem for paid media, which means, in my eyes, that the playing field has been leveled dramatically. And I'm going to kind of walk you through why that is, why this is so important now. And I promise you, if this existed 5 years ago, I would be on an island with a cocktail and I'd be retired. So this is how important this technology is, and it isn't going to change. It's happening now, and the future, for those of you who take advantage of it, is going to be awesome. For those of you who don't, you're going to be playing catch up. So what I wanted to do and what I had to do is understand how this thing works. And because traditional SEO did not translate, I had to basically start from scratch. But luckily, I had a pretty solid understanding of algorithms and how search engines work. So if you flick to the next one, AI systems have a specific criteria. And as you kind of flick through these images, I'll unpack what this means. They have a ranking system, but then they have a prioritization system. So not only do you have to understand how to rank in ChatGPT, you have to understand how it prioritizes the results when it returns them. So what I did, unfortunately for me, I had to go through the painstaking task of typing in over 2,000 queries over the course of 3 months. It cost me just shy of $2,000 to do this exercise. And I recorded everything, every keyword, every URL, every agent, every location, and the same things kept popping up every single time. And this is how this entire system works, is pattern recognition. So what I was starting to realize is, okay, it's looking for this information in these places. What do I need to do to make sure that I'm featured here? And if you, again, tab a couple of times, Tim, it will kind of give it away a little bit, but maybe not too much. And the best part about this is all of you likely have all of these pages on your website, guaranteed. If you don't, definitely add them. But you're probably just not leveraging the information in the right way. So if you tab to the next screen, I'll show you what I mean. Same structure, same pages, 1,800 searches, and there was no difference. It was always the list of homes that they had, the home types that they sell, the price brackets that these guys worked in, the sales data, whether it be for the last 5 years or for the last 12 months or for however long they've been in business, and their specialty in the geo. So not just Miami, but the neighborhoods within Miami. Or, not just, for example, if we're talking about Texas, we're talking about Flower Mound, and we look at Fort Worth, and we look at all of those different cities, and then those have different neighborhoods. That is what I mean. By doing that, I was able to identify which 3 pages or 5 pages, but the same concept, ChatGPT was looking for. So it's always your homepage. So this information, when I say this information needs to exist on these 3 pages. So just remember these. So anything to do with your homepage, this information has to be there. It can be at the bottom of the screen. It can be in the middle. It doesn't really matter as long as it's there and it's in a list format. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. You've got your buy and sell pages. Super, super important. These are the transactional moments. This is where somebody is like, I need to sell my home fast, or I want to buy a home in X location. Needs to be there. And then you've got the about page. And the about page is really important because if you imagine your Zillow profile, the about page is your version of a Zillow profile, but just on your website. And a lot of agents don't take advantage of the fact that you have all of this information. It exists on the web. You're just not putting it in the right places. So why give Zillow more opportunities to outrank you when you can take some of that luxury back? So if you jump into the next slide. And this is the common thing we run into. The common problem is I don't have time to do this, nor do I know how to do this. Probably the third most common issue is I don't want to do this. I'm too busy. I've got listing appointments to deal with. I've got other marketing channels to contend with. I don't want to touch it. I understand. But if you've got a Zillow profile, then you've got time to do this because all of the information already exists. You just need to take it from Zillow and put it on your website. So if you can see here, what I just said from those 2,000 queries, Zillow mirrors perfectly. Recent sales, how many sales in the last 12 months, total sales, price bracket, and then average price of that home. And then they've got obviously their kind of active listings in that little carousel. They've also got reviews. They've also got bios about the agent or the agent team. And that is all you need. And if you go to the next screen, Peggy Spiker here has done exactly that. She's taken everything from Zillow, put it on her website in the exact order, and job done. That's the house maintenance part finished. It's just being able to say, hey, ChatGPT, if you're going to return me, do not return my Zillow profile. I want you to return my website. The more website visits you get, the higher likelihood you have of controlling the conversion. Obviously, Zillow has its own ecosystem for that, but I'm sure you'd probably prefer to control that conversion yourself and pay significantly less for it. So that's the house maintenance part done. Next part. This is where we start getting into the kind of the juicy secrets.
Is that number 2? I'll go ahead, Ryan.
No, you do. I think it makes sense for you to do it because there's a very attractive photo of you on the next screen.
It's AI generated. So secret number 2. Before we get to secret number 2, just to recap secret number 1 here. What Ryan is saying is that this information exists. Your experience is already out there. It's likely already on your Zillow profile. Is it, number 1, accurate? Take a look. When's the last time you refreshed your about me on your Zillow profile? And then number 2, bring that over to your website. If it doesn't already exist like it does for Peggy Lynn Spiker, bring that over in that format that Ryan just shared. And we'll share the deck too, by the way, so you have everything that we're sharing here. So secret number 2, if I could back up a step, your brand needs to be inside the ChatGPT ecosystem. This is Mafioso Tim here, AI generated. I wish I looked that cool. Tim Harvey is stealing your real estate leads, which is a scary thought, but let me show you what I mean by that. So when I go to ChatGPT and I search, I should mention this, back up a step. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I hardly practice. As you can see here, this is accurate. This is my experience. So if you're asking yourself, do I have enough experience to rank at the top of Google, to rank in the language models like ChatGPT? I'm going to show you the answer is yes, unequivocally yes. So I sold my 2-family 2 years ago, just after getting my license. And then a couple months ago, helped a family member buy a house near me. That is it. Now, if I go to ChatGPT and I search this, I'm considering moving to Upton, Massachusetts. This is where I live in Upton. Can you tell me about Upton's real estate market and reasons to move here? So Chat gives me the results. Here's an overview of the market, pricing, prices and trends, market activity, reasons to consider moving to Upton, a summary. When we look at the sources, usual suspects are appearing, right? Credible sources. It's citing Realtor, Redfin, Zillow, Rocket, even Wikipedia, Homes. The only real estate business that it's surfacing here is Tim Harvey Real Estate. So it's a blog, an informational blog that I have on my website. There's another one down here as well. So 2 opportunities right here. I'm in the results, which is crazy to think of. I have a real estate license. I have a website. I don't practice. I've been in the industry. It's good to have. I'm eating my own dog food. So I want you to see, regardless of your level of experience, if you have a website and you apply the framework that we're sharing today, you will appear in the ChatGPT results. And to take it a step further, bring it back to traditional SEO for a second, searching reasons to move to Upton, Mass, you can see there's a Tim Harvey sandwich happening here. I have 2 informational blogs with next door in between. I'm essentially writing the AI overview. Talk about credibility. When I get this brand impression, they see my name, Tim Harvey, up here. I see Tim Harvey Real Estate as well. So I'm writing the AI overview in essence. I'm also the first result. So I'm the number 1. I just did the search this morning. I'm the number 1 result, and then I'm also the number 2 result. So if you follow this framework, you will rank at the top of Google. You will rank also at the top of ChatGPT or in the ChatGPT results. Let me show you another example. So Timmy Montgomery, known her for years, a client of ours. She's done $1 billion. Actually, 3 years ago, I think she had hit $1 billion. So she's surpassed $1 billion in sales. She's selling 273 homes or helping buyers each year. Clearly an agent with a lot of experience. This team has a tremendous amount of experience. Now, when I go to ChatGPT and I search, again, I did this morning. Now, this is a much more high intent, like to the point. Like I need a real estate agent in Bossier City, Louisiana that can help me find a 3-bedroom home between this price point. That's that same query, essentially, that we shared a few slides back. She is the number 1 agent in Bossier City. But when you look at the names here, you are not seeing Tammy Montgomery anywhere. So how is Tim Harvey appearing and Tammy's not appearing? I want to call out the sources here. This is where it gets interesting. So this will be on a list that we provide you of, hey, where do I need to have a presence? Where do I need a profile? And the answer here is Fast Expert. So if I look at the top 3 results, Wanda, Shelly, Ofa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, all Fast Expert. So I went over to Fast Expert. I typed in Bossier City, and it's literally the top 3 results. It's getting a little lazy here, right? ChatGPT got a little lazy, just went to Fast Expert, pulled the top 3 agents here, and they're the top 3 results in ChatGPT. But notice the level of experience. Yeah, a lot of reviews, but 182 sales. Amy has way more than 182. And this is the last 3 years, right? 74 sales, 61 sales. So this tells me Tammy does not have a Fast Expert profile. So you're going to want to have a Fast Expert profile. And you probably noticed this. If you did this search, I'd be curious to know, were the results showing that it's pulling a lot from Fast Expert? It's not the only source. You're seeing Century 21, homes.com, but Fast Expert is incredibly prevalent. Now I want to show you one more example. I won't blow this up. I'm going to go right back over to ChatGPT. So I use me as an example, one end of the spectrum, Tammy Montgomery on the other end of the spectrum. Caitlin probably falls into, where a lot of agents are. They're full-time in real estate, unlike me. They're helping buyers, they're selling homes. And we've done this for Caitlin as well. So if I pull up this query, did this morning as well. So this is a very common search. So think of how the consumer behavior is today. More and more people, and we'll share some data around this, are using AI to answer their questions. So you've got Google, that's your search engine. You've got the language models. These are your answer engines. So they're spending a lot more time on on AI than they are in traditional search like Google. So somebody searches, I'm considering moving to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Tell me about home prices, the pros and cons of living in Gatlinburg. What's the cost of living here? So maybe a little higher in the funnel. They're moving. They're trying to narrow down their search. And so we look through the results here, blow it up a little bit. Here's the housing market overview for 2025. Here's Caitlin. There's a page on her website. There's realtor.com, Rocket. Here's another page for Caitlin. Here's another Caitlin. That's 3. Down in the cons, there's a 4th one, a 5th one. She's appearing 5 times in ChatGPT's results. And just for fun, again, traditional SEO, because it still very much works. If I Google pros and cons of living in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, you're seeing she's in here. She's in the AI overview. She's also on page 1 of Google. She's the second result down. After the first result, then there's a Reddit thread, and then there's Caitlin. If I searched this morning, which I did, cost of living in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, again, she's in the AI overview. She's also on page 1 of Google. Here she is. And then one more for fun. Living in Douglas Lake, next door or nearby, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. There she is again in the AI overview, and she is the first result in Google, the first organic result in Google. So we're gonna keep going, things going here and showing you how exactly that we're providing these opportunities. Every single link or a citation is an opportunity for Caitlin's business or even my business if I choose to practice at something, which I won't.
Save some leads for somebody else, Tim. That's what it is.
If you're an Upton, you're in trouble.
The thing I want to speak to as well, just because I think it's so important to keep in mind, is that traditional SEO, for anybody who has ever tried this, whether you've dipped your toe in the water for 3 months and said, you know what, it's not for me, you'll soon realize that traditional SEO has historically been, and I've experienced this, I've gone through the pain of this, slow, because Google it will just do what it wants. So even if you've got the best looking website, you've done $1 billion in sales, if it feels like Google being if it feels like your content is not worthy for positions 1 to 3, or if it's not worthy for even page 1, you're going to have a hard time seeing any ROI on. And you can probably expect kind of 6 to 9 months before you start to see that thing trickle in. AI is within 48 hours. So just to put some context on what Tim just showed you, Caitlin has only been with us for 45 days. And before that, the website basically didn't exist. It was, you can see here, you can kind of see immediately where we took over versus what existed prior to us taking over. Now, that might not look like a whole bunch of clicks, but Caitlin's on track to do 300 to 400 organic visits this month versus 1 to 5 only 45 days ago. So we're not looking for a 9-month timeline. We're looking at a 90-day timeline, which has historically not been possible, especially for how cheap things are now versus what we were paying only 3-4 years ago. So I just want to call that out. And then if we go back to the, how we reversed engineered it, you saw that Reddit popped up a lot. You see that Quora pops up a lot. And the reason being is because these systems are the most popular websites to exist. Reddit did a deal with Google. It trains Google's data. It trains ChatGPT's data. And within these ecosystems, agents appear. So if you're not position one, but Reddit is, wouldn't it make sense for you to be part of a subreddit where somebody asks what it's like to live in Gatlinburg? And we did this for Caitlin. So if she didn't appear position one, I would go into Reddit and I would make sure she appeared in the conversation, because remember, we're trying to rank in a conversation engine. So we took that ecosystem, we broke it down, and we figured out exactly which sites you need to be on, how often, and we're going to give that to you now. And then I'm also going to give you a free spreadsheet with 40 sites, which are the exact 40 sites that you need to appear on. So try and get as many of them as possible to make sure you're in ChatGPT's ecosystem.
Sorry to interrupt. I love that you brought up Reddit, because I was literally just having a conversation with someone yesterday when I was just doing so many random searches. Reddit is one of the first thing that shows up no matter what you're searching in any industry below sponsored. And literally things were showing up where it was a Reddit thread from like a year ago or 5 years ago, even if it had 0 comments. Like it was just a post asking the question, but no one had ever even responded to the thread. And so you might think, well, there's no point in me responding because it was a thread from 5 years ago and there's no comments, but just comment. And now you're going to show up when people open the thread. Now you're going to show up when the search results are searching and Google and AI. And so it's hilarious. And now that makes sense. I was like, why is Reddit continuing to show up at the top? That's why I didn't know Google did that deal with Reddit.
Yeah, there are over 100 million users, daily users on Reddit. So, and you can go do the search, right? If you search something, like you saw in a couple of examples I showed, Reddit appears almost every single time. Climb in there, search something, right? And then look for who is being recommended in there. This is super organic, right? If somebody's saying, I'm considering moving to Upton, Massachusetts, can you recommend a good agent? And some user jumps in and says, I used Tim Harvey. No, they didn't. I used Tim Harvey, had a great experience. Here's a link to his website. Like that is tremendously impactful, not just for your own brand, but for how do you get into the ChatGPT ecosystem?
Yeah, love it. Guerrilla marketing at its finest. So this is everything that you would need to do. If you were starting from scratch right now, like so many of you are, as in you don't have profiles here, you probably have information scattered across the web, but you need to kind of compound that and consolidate everything so it makes sense for answer engines and search engines. So Reddit, and some markets this won't be possible. In some markets, this will be probably the bare minimum because of how popular some locations are. And I encourage you, go to Reddit, go find a subreddit for where you live or work. And I guarantee you there will be an opportunity for you to respond to an answer that you can be helpful with. And it has to be valuable. You can't just say, I'm the best real estate agent in wherever, go to my website. It has to kind of have some value attached to it. But Reddit, Quora, 2 main ones. Then you've got local press, local communities. So if you've done anything for, you might have sponsored a local coffee shop for Halloween or something special, like an event that happens in your community that you want to be a part of. Not only does that help you in the kind of offline world, but from an online perspective, if that gets picked up in your local press, those local press sites are referenced by ChatGPT and Google more than you think. So it's always important to, wherever you can, be featured in your local press. And then we've got your fast agent profile, Rate My Agent, Yelp, and probably one of the most important, there's actually 2 now. This has changed since 3 weeks ago. So GBP, which is Google Business Profile, also known as Google My Business. If you don't have one, please, I implore you to do it. And Bing Places profile. ChatGPT is trained on Bing's index. So if you're in Bing, you're in ChatGPT, just to kind of keep that in mind. And all of this to say, on the right-hand side with the AI overviews, Paul Kaplan, another guy we work with, awesome guy. Within, I think it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks of working with us, we just deployed this strategy. We found areas where we could in Reddit. He already had some very good profiles set up. And because of that, because of the authority that he had, it took literally no time to get him in AI overview. So again, that time gap between I'm investing in SEO versus the return from it has gone from this to this, and AI is largely responsible for it. So you've got that list there, but what we'll also share with you guys afterwards, if it would be helpful, is a complete spreadsheet of, I think it's 41 sites where you can go and set your profiles up. The majority of them are free. Some of them are like $7 a year, so not expensive at all. But it will help you tremendously. I can't stress enough. It might be laborious. Trust me, I know it's laborious, but it will make such a difference. The people who have it versus the people who don't will be massively evident by the end of this year, probably by the end of this month. So if you tab to the next slides, the next kind of, I guess, mindset thing to get over is, as we just showed you for all of this last, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, is that there is a disproportionate favor for ChatGPT and other LLMs to return small businesses. Google, not so much, but Google just released, as of last week, you might not have seen, AI mode, which is basically ChatGPT, but with Google's index. The big problem that we've had forever is that Zillow, no matter where you work, is always either number one, number three, or number two. And then you've got all of the other, Redfin, Trulia, Realtor.com. And the reason why they're able to do that is because Zillow's strategy is, I am just going to produce a page for every corner of the country. Doesn't matter if it gets me any traffic at all. They have 2.2 million pages. The reason why this is an opportunity for you is two reasons. One, ChatGPT is not favoring big aggregators or portals. You will never do a query that says, can you find me an agent who can help me sell my home for between 400 and 500K in Deerfield Beach? Zillow will not be recommended. It might be a source, but it will never be recommended. So you do not have to compete. The second thing is that because Zillow has absolutely no care in the world for 99% of the pages on their website, if you put a little bit of care into the page that you want to rank, you will outrank them. And I just want that to settle in, because Zillow is a multi-billion-dollar company, and little single individual agents in a very, niche market can outrank these sites with the right content strategy. We've proved it, and we will continue to prove it throughout this webinar.
Ryan, you said something I want to just foot stomp on about Google. Can you repeat what you said about Google and their update with
AI mode? Yeah, so AI mode has basically decimated the traditional blue links. So if any of you, it's rolled out in the US now. So if you go on your phone and you go to Google, you should have AI mode. And what it will do is it will behave in the exact same way as ChatGPT. So it will source answers, order those answers for you, and the whole experience will appear like it's ChatGPT.
So there's no mistake here. We're definitely early to this. If you're an agent tuning in, you are early to this. In the next 6 months, 12 months, Google is going to look a lot more like ChatGPT than ChatGPT looks like Google. You can already see it. Anytime you search, not every time, but the majority of your searches, you're already seeing the AI overviews. And so Google's now reacting to the world that we're now stepping into.
Yeah, and I don't know how we can do this, but we can share this. Maybe Elena, I'll give you the link, and you can just drop it in the group. But we pull together all of the top sites that you guys need to get set up on, and it's for free. We want you to win, and we're going to give this away. So please use it.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left, so we'll speed up through secret number 3 here.
Yes. So secret number 3 is all around content and the exact framework that ChatGPT looks for. So Google is a traditional search model. ChatGPT, as we've said, is an answer engine. Google is very much, even though we rank, that is us in the AI overviews, and that's also our client at number 1. Google is a broken UX. You do some research, you find the wrong answer, you do some more research, you click into different sites, and then you're like, finally, I have my answer. And the reason being is because it's very top level, best real estate agent in Miami. It's very quick on the go. ChatGPT is much more thoughtful. It's much more conversational. It's specific, like Tim showed earlier. Chat does all of the research, so you don't have to go and do it. The models are now becoming much better. It returns all of the sources for you. So if you do want to go to their website, you can. And the key is to appear for both. And that's exactly what we're doing. That's why AI search is what we do best. So if I'll kind of show you a specific example, because leads come from specific needs, right? When you think about somebody searching for, hey, I need a realtor in Miami, they're top of funnel. They really do not care at that point how they interact or who they interact with. When they start saying things like, that can help me find a 2-bed condo, it starts to get a bit warmer. They're probably at this research stage or a bit curious. But when they start asking things like between 750 and $1 million with beachfront views, that person is at the point of inflection. They're ready to make a decision then and there. And ChatGPT is exactly this. It is a very specific conversation because people do not want the experience that they're used to with Google, which is why ChatGPT is the fastest growing, overtook Bing, Yahoo, all of those guys within a year, one of the fastest growing engines that sends traffic to websites that we've ever seen. So this is the intent matrix. This is what we call it, the intent matrix. And what we try to do is rank for all of that. And I'll show you how we do it. So the framework that we dive into, just to kind of preface this before we do, I want to give you real numbers because there's a lot of speculation about whether or not people are using ChatGPT to find real estate agents. The answer is yes. 60% of all adults in the US, so 18 plus, are using ChatGPT in some form to do something property related. It could be improve their home's value. They want to do a new kitchen. They want to do a new bathroom, but they're doing something property related in ChatGPT. 35% of all adults are using ChatGPT to find specifically about how to increase their home's value, how to get a valuation, the market, everything that's kind of hinting towards, I'm thinking about selling or I'm thinking about buying, but I'm not really sure about the area yet. So moving to living in this neighborhood versus this neighborhood, they're using that for this stage. But 30% of all searches for ChatGPT are people looking specifically to work with a real estate agent in the area they're looking to buy or sell in. So, and again, that's 300 million people searching every single day on ChatGPT.
You know, what's interesting here, Ryan, is I want to call this out. Next Gen's report, as well as Motley's report, this is 2024.
Yeah.
We're halfway through 2025.
Yep.
Without a doubt, these numbers are higher. Ever so slightly every single day, more and more people are adopting ChatGPT or other language models. Buyers and sellers have already changed their behavior. You can see this here. Agents have not, which is why we're having this session here today. So buyers and sellers have already changed their behavior from what they were doing a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah. And the people that are winning right now, majority of them are winning by mistake. So you might as well be slightly more thoughtful and you can overtake these people. So the framework, this is everything that you would need to do. And the important thing is there's two elements of this. One is off site. So all of your profiles we kind of ran through: Zillow, Yelp, Reddit, Quora, the entire list. Then you've got on site. This is where you build your authority and this is where you show off what your specialisms are, right? So when we think about authority, we think about living in, moving to, what are the average costs, this town versus this town, neighborhood guides. Then you have your specialism. So I sell properties below this bracket or between this bracket, and I specialize in condos, or I specialize in condos with beachfront views. This is where ChatGPT is going to pull from all of the time. And remember, specificity means leads. And all of that put together is what allows you to get credibility. That's what allows you to get the form fills. That's what allows you to get ChatGPT leads. That's what allows you to get SEO leads every single month for your business. So your moat is no longer paid advertising. It is a website that you control, that you can contribute to, and the ecosystem at that point is yours. And it's not something that is future, like Tim said, we're very early to this, but it is already happening. And I'll show you an example. I can't unfortunately reveal who the company is. But I wanted to just highlight this. This is an agent. This is somebody in your space. Google being the primary referrer of traffic. You can see that. Direct being second. Then it has YouTube. And then fourth, their fourth highest is ChatGPT. And the highest engaged audience is ChatGPT. Just to think about that. I know we're thinking about the future, but this thing is already happening and we're seeing the data more and more with so many different agents.
Can you quickly Ryan, just explain what the engagement rate means?
The engagement rate means, have you clicked a form? Have you clicked a button? Have you submitted an inquiry? Have you tried to click the number at the top of the in the navigation? Anything that suggests that the user has interacted with the website, it has to be like a call to action. That's what engagement rate signals.
We have a question from the chat. Andrea asks, do you have to do something different for other LLMs like Claude or Perplexity?
No, they work in the same way. Perplexity is very citation heavy, and you'll notice that because it allows you to filter by like socials, news, web. So everything is citation driven, but the exact principles that we've just walked through apply to all LLMs.
Thanks.
So I know we're running out of time here, Elena. So I'll quickly cover this here. So this is what we've done now since January. So maybe 5 months, give or take. Did 2,100 what we call ghost leads. We're marketers, so we have to brand everything. But what this is it's your anonymous website visitors. So when you think of SEO, we all think of organic leads as the goalpost. Hey, I need to rank first, both in Google or other search engines, just like ChatGPT or other language models. Why? In an effort to get that call or that form fill, or I want to see this property. If that is all you're doing, I think it's a huge mistake. This is something completely unique to FlyDragon, where if you have 100 website visits per month, let's say, you might get 1 or 2, maybe 3 organic leads. So out of every 100 visits from SEO, you might get a handful of leads. You will only get a handful of leads. You're never going to get more than that. But what about the other 97 or 98 or 99 visitors who came to your website? They came there, they didn't land there by accident. They were there, maybe they got the information that they were looking for, and then they bounce off the website. So that wasn't, just focusing on organic leads wasn't good enough for Ryan and I. We wanted to find a way to, one, help an agent grow their database, but two, really to accelerate the results. Like we showed you with Caitlin, the last 6-7 weeks since we've launched her, she's had 150 plus website visits. We can identify them through third-party data sources, the visitors, and we pass them as ghost leads to any CRM. So I think it's something you can do on your own. You can use Lead Post. There's RB2B. There's several data providers, and what they're doing is they're using IP address or device fingerprinting, it's called, to identify a percentage, maybe 20 to 30% of your website visitors. And what you're getting is this is redacted, but you're getting first name, last name, you're getting address, you're getting email address. In a lot of cases, you're also getting phone number. And so what our clients are doing with these leads, direct mail is a fantastic channel to nurture ghost leads. You can put them on email with the disclaimer of make sure that if you're in the US, you're following opt-out rules governed by CAN spam. And if you are calling, scrub that against the do not contact list. So this is just something I want to make sure you're aware of. You can identify who is coming to your website to grow your database and perhaps nurture them in a different way, such as direct mail. Okay, so this is going to conclude this session. Hopefully we kept our promise. We showed you how to get your brand, just like we're doing for other real estate agents across the US, in AI search, as well as traditional search engines, how to connect with buyers and sellers using ChatGPT, how they're using it today, right? The data is showing us that they are using this today. And lastly, we're giving you the framework in addition to all the resources, the list of places where you want to have a profile, as well as a few other resources we can send out after today's recording. So last slide, you've got 3 choices. Number 1, do nothing and let the Tim Harvey agents, every market has hundreds of Tim Harveys, right? Have a license and they're just slowly chipping away at the business. So you can do nothing. Number 2, take everything that we've shown you today, rewatch the recording, implement that. Since we did a very similar session a month ago, I've had at least 24 agents tell me that they've already implemented a lot of the things that we shared. So it is possible to do the things that we're sharing here today. And lastly, we can do this for you too as well. So if you don't have the time or the inclination to do it, you can reach out to us at goflydragon.com. You can book a call with me and Ryan. We can look at your business. We can look at your budget. We can look at your inclination to do these things, and we can do it all for you.
Awesome. Yes, you did keep your promise. Mandy, to answer your question, we'll get the list of websites from Tim and Ryan and get that emailed and posted. Cindy asks, can you remarket on Facebook to the ghost leads? I think the answer is yes. I think you can just upload those as a custom audience. Is that the answer?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Retargeting, web retargeting, or even on social is a viable play for sure.
Awesome. Yes, you kept to your promise. That was a lot of valuable information. I want to say if you want to learn more and want to work and build with Tim live, you can consider this sort of like a part 2 that we'll be doing in person with Tim. So I thought, hey, this is a perfect opportunity to share. Tim will be joining us live. Let me find the right tab I'm sharing. He'll be joining us live in Dallas. Can you see the tab I'm sharing?
Yes.
On August 29th. If you'll be in Dallas for the Tom Ferry Summit, perfect opportunity to extend your trip one day. If not, and you live in the area or you're open to traveling to Dallas, please join us. Tim will be one of 6 speakers joining us. This is the Real Estate Coaching Collective that if you're joining us live or you've been joining our sessions, it's the 5 of us. Our goal with this community is to build together and have no fluff sessions like this. Tim will be joining us for that event. It's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. an all day event. We've been doing this for 3 years, where the original premise was, let's see what happens if we all get in a room and lock the door. And it's always been fun to build together. So if you want to join us for that day, he will be one of 6 speakers. I will put that in the chat as well as send that out via email. Riverside takes a second to post the link.
While you're doing that, Elaine, I could just explain exactly what I'll be doing.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So we showed you a lot of the results. We didn't show you what we did. We didn't pull up any of those informational blogs or those pages. So at that session, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. We're going to do it live in person. I'm going to show you how to create this, how to take the prompts that we've spent hundreds of hours on perfecting, how to use ChatGPT to write it, how to use some other SEO optimization tools like Neuron Writer and Quillbot. And then that is your content that will rank in ChatGPT as well as Google search. It's exactly what we're doing. We're just going to give that away in August.
Yep, exactly. I'm looking forward to it. We all love our prompts because I always struggle with it. I say, just help me create this. I don't know how to ask it. So always looking for help there. So I just posted Tim's link in the chat as well for a Calendly, but we'll be sure to email that. Mandy says this was an awesome webinar. I agree. Shelly said the same thing.
Thank you so much.
Andrea, I can't wait to see the recording. And I know a lot of people who couldn't make it live will find this very valuable. So Tim, Ryan, thank you so much for your time. You were very generous with your time and with all of the goodies you shared. So thank you both so much.
Thank you, Elaine. And thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.